Welcome to another captivating episode of the Molarbear. I'm your host, Dr. Ganindh, and today we are honored to have a distinguished guest, Dr. Vidhi Bhanushali ma'am, who is changing oral health checkup and healthcare accessibility. Ma'am, a warm welcome to the show.
Hey, doctor, thank you. Glad to be on the show.
Indeed, ma'am. Your career has transformed the realm of dentistry, entrepreneurship, and healthcare industry. Could you please enlighten us about the journey and the motivation that led you to the field of dentistry, ma'am?
Interesting. So I'll share a small story before jumping into what has been late with respect to dentistry in life. Just after my 12th grade, I had two options in front of me, and unlike a normal student who has MBBS and BDS as a career, I wanted to do something in dentistry or biotechnology. Now, why biotechnology? I had chance and opportunity to understand the basics of computer, its languages, and how we can influence a lot of things in genetics with this combined power of biotechnology. But
Mhm.
having said that, when I delved into second option, which is dentistry, I went through a few stats which are present in our country. Didn't really dive into the global statistics, but with respect to India, what I understood was there's so much of work to be done where we have a lot of problems existing with respect to prevalence rate in the country. And on the other hand, we also have a lot of dental surgeons in the country. But there is some kind of disconnect, some area, something between which is not being addressed rightly, where we need to put in our focus in a different way, in a smart way to change the situation. And as I keep saying, increase the power of dentistry.
Mhm.
This is how I landed up choosing dentistry as my career. And fast forward to that day, to today, I feel that each and every day of my life I have dedicated and will be doing so uh, towards the mission and vision which all of us carry is to empower every individual with oral health care, right from the primary education, primary motivation and awareness to end-to-end uh, delivery of treatments and post-treatment protocols, and of course, working on the basic of hygienes and habits for
Mhm.
each and every individual.
Your journey is indeed a testament of commitment, ma'am. That's great. You co founded DentalDost, an enterprise that is reshaping oral health assessment. Could you please
Hmm.
shed some light on the core mission of DentalDost and your vision for teledentistry?
The main fundamental thing that we are trying to solve, which indeed reflects the main vision and mission of for dental dose, is to deliver oral health care by making it accessible and equitable for all. Now, if we talk about teledentistry, as rightly mentioned by you,
Mhm.
I see that as one of the stepping stones in order to making oral healthcare equitable for all. You will be surprised to know that the first steps into the journey of dental those were to make an original organic content which attracted a lot of users. And till today, we get most of our users through our website. And what did we do on website? Just a bunch of very dedicated dental surgeons coming together and making content in a very different format, which is fun to consume while you're understanding the nuances of oral healthcare. From that, we begin our journey of tele-dentistry, which is to deliver consultation, e-prescription, and treatment planning through teleway. It could either be audio or video consultation. And back then, when we started, this is in 2020, before COVID, it was a very new concept. Again, it's very easy to relate, right? If you have some other medical disorder, it's easier for a patient to describe to a professional versus a patient suffering from dental pain. First of all, many times they don't understand if it is a pain originating from a tooth or a gum, if it is upper tooth, lower tooth because of radiating pain, if it is a TMJ issue, it's a musculoskeletal issue, or what. So when we introduced teledentistry, we got a lot of opposition saying, how is this possible? There are no certain guidelines with respect to this. How are we taking this particular branch of dentistry forward? But
Very true, ma'am.
COVID taught all of us, yeah, COVID taught all of us how do we thrive and how do we amend according to the situation and think out of the box to adjust to new ways of both delivering and receiving telehealth. But having said that, as I again mentioned, I don't want to limit just to teledentistry. There are so many automation which are now possible thanks to the era of AI that we are in, that a lot of pre-consultation and post-consultations instructions processes could be automated. So we can just focus on something that machines can't do, what only a professional can advise.
Actually, ma'am, this listening this sounds like a dream because tele-dentistry, telemedicine, we can imagine. We cannot imagine tele-dentistry actually because it's completely an we do procedures basically. So it was very nice and very
Mm.
enlightful hearing this. Well, ma'am, since you told that you faced many opposes and you must be facing many opposes yet because there are no proper guidelines framed by our honorable DCI, as per as my knowledge. So, could you share some of the peaks and valleys that you have encountered along these paths?
To add one point on the guidelines of teledentistry, I would really say that ICMR has really worked on an exhaustive document, which now gives us a clarity on what could be done. For example, what drugs could be prescribed on a video call versus on an audio call. Till what extent can we consult or advise a patient again through the means of teledentistry, and what should not be done. Having said that, I believe there are still a lot of things which we can add and make it clear, and a lot of room for improvement. But this is the first step towards India adopting telehealth, teledentistry, and working on the same to have the guidelines originating for India because every geography has different rules and regulations pertaining to that particular situation. So it is high time that even with respect to not just telehealth but AI, we have been following compliances and guidelines from the GDPR compliances with respect to patient data security in the EU region, right?
Mhm.
For US, we have the FDA guidelines
Yeah.
and processes, but these all of these are slowly and steadily evolving for our country as well. Talking about peaks and valleys, and I'm sure many of the entrepreneurs, founders listening to this can relate to, is we see a lot of valleys than peaks in our journey. If I have to put a number, they might easily be 3x or 5x. Uh, so valleys are 5x more than the peaks that we encounter. But this is a journey that we all signed up for. And if we face this with brave attitude, I'm sure we can achieve triumph on all of this. Uh, to give a few examples on the gravest and the deepest valleys that we have encountered is number one, it was very difficult to convince in the beginning both patients and doctors about this new novel concept. Now imagine the basic research work of entire DentalDost, the fundamentals started back in 2018, 2 years before COVID,
Mhm.
where these things were uncommon, not heard of. Concepts were very difficult to digest. But that still was not such a challenge as compared to later valleys which we had to encounter to manage funds.
Mhm.
Having a strong fund to accelerate growth, to accelerate product market fit, and to hold on to a solid team, which we were fortunate to build, was not easy in the country. I've been speaking to a lot of angels and VCs, and what I understood that Indian ecosystem is still a little bit immature when it comes to understanding the intricacies of deep tech and healthcare combined. Especially when it comes to oral health tech, it's a very niche field where we don't have a lot of innovations. Now we're lucky to have few of them emerging in this particular year, 2023, in the last 5 to 6 months. But again, there have not been a lot of success stories or uh, examples to whom this ecosystem or community can relate, reflect, and make their bets. So I would say they are also not wrong. We are also not wrong. It's a new momentum which is building up, which awaits everybody's attention to validate the overall concept. But again, this is also not the only thing, right? One funny incident I want to share.
Mhm.
When we started hiring our first set of dental surgeons to annotate, understand ML, because the overall model is trained by the input of dental surgeons and then given to my team of machine learning scientists and engineers who then train it. It was very difficult for me to make them comfortable with computers, so with the overall extent of using this complex softwares to annotate.
Mhm.
But again, we thought, okay, let's face this challenge with a smile. And we made an entire Bible of how do you provide the tele-dentistry, how do you annotate in a particular way. These are like exhaustive rules and regulation. And again, it is a 150 plus pages document. It
Mhm.
becomes difficult for anybody to memorize it or relate to it every time they are doing it. So now we've made it a compact summary version of the same. So our team does not make the same mistake again and again. So with respect to hardships, I can just keep going on and on. But let's come to the peaks, right?
Mhm.
Uh, and to highlight the very few recent ones, after trying for multiple times to get some attention that something new, hot, and innovative is brewing in this space, we finally got not just national but global attention through our selection in Google Accelerator program, Batch 7, which is just AI focused.
That
And I feel super proud to
that's
be
very
saying that we
great.
are yeah, that we are the only oral health tech company being recognized by Google. And the kind of support that they are extending to us is remarkable. Um, Second peak I would like to mention is we successfully made our product compatible for B2B as well. So we had started with consumer app. We still are a consumer based company, but when I was talking to one of our partner doctors, to be honest, a group of doctors, what I understood, we should be leveraging this tech that we have built for our community as well directly. So they can give access to this platform to their patients to effectively and efficiently manage their patient loads in their clinics, to support mass screenings and various innovations that they want to inculcate with what we have made so far. So our AI bot, uh, what we have made, by bot I just don't mean the digital bot, but it's a proper hardware, a kiosk. So we call it as AI digital OPD bot, which could be placed anywhere, uh, giving result to patients of their oral health screening report within 10 seconds in their generic language. And the way it is being adopted, the demand that I see in the market for this again is which we didn't anticipate. But that's great. Yeah.
That's actually very great to hear that, ma'am. And it is now really very fascinating. I'm getting a lot of interest into this dental dose and telemedicine. Ma'am, I have a question for you, if you don't mind answering. How does a patient approach it? Suppose that a patient A has a pain in his mouth. How the dental dose is gonna help him? Matlab, till start to end, if you could explain the process.
Okay, to get into the workflow uh, of patients, they usually discover us online, mostly organically, because as I mentioned, we've been producing a lot of content from 2018 till today. So whenever they are Googling for, say, toothache or deviated jaw or my mouth is burning, is this the normal sensation or do I have some problem? And not just in English, we have users searching in 16 plus languages. So they land up on our website, they consume content, and what they see is, why don't you quickly scan your oral cavity and receive the first level of screening. Once they scan their oral cavity, there are certain set of questions also which we take into consideration in order to get a full idea of what could be the chief complaint history of the patient along with the pictorial representation, which delivers an immediate screening report within 10 seconds, like 10 being maximum, right?
Mhm.
Uh, Giving a full clarity of at least the initial understanding of patient's condition. Post that in our app, we have an online support for tele and video consultation 24 by 7. It's like 24 hours, 7 days, 12
Mhm.
months, right? They can opt for the same, discuss their case at length with our dental surgeons. We have both in-house and partner doctors, but mostly the inquiries are taken care by my in-house set of dental surgeons. After that is done, the patient is usually motivated because now that they have discovered on their own scan, it's a very different journey for patient. Having said that, so far dental phobia has not set in. Usually people are super scared of dental surgeons.
Very true,
Here,
ma'am.
clicking photos of their mouth is like clicking selfies, a very natural human behavior, which kinds of make them feel at ease.
Mhm.
Uh, and they talk to our dental surgeons who are like super friendly. So all of this phobia is eliminated. Treatments are explained them in a very fun, creative, and a easy manner. They book treatments at our partner clinics, which we have more than 450 across the country, mostly in tier one cities, but we don't limit it to just tier one, wherever the patient is coming from. Post the treatment is done, we take care of their post treatment instructions and habit formation as well. All of this is very difficult to do manually, which is where we have integrated automation at every step. So, for example, if you get an implant done or if the patient has got a full mouth rehab done, what are the things that he should be doing every 15 days for the first month? And then every month, 3 months, 9 months, 12 months, and so on and so forth. So smart nudging and balance between what they are receiving from the app and also personal touch from our in-house team of dental surgeons kinds of make the entire cycle very smooth for them without any hesitations of, you know, getting the right set of habits repeatedly.
Oh, very well, ma'am. So, guys, our dentistry is also now touched by AI, and the step has been taken by ma'am. So people who are techno freak doing dentistry can move on further. This is actually an inspiration for you guys. Okay, ma'am, coming back along
Thank
this
you.
side of Dental Dost, you have been honored with many prestigious awards such as Froged Award and International Merit Holder. What significance do these awards hold for you?
Well, receiving awards is like the getting a repeated validation of whatever path that you have chosen and walking on to uh, is going in the right direction. As much as I don't make a big deal of the awards and recognition, it is in the current era very important to have a public image and to have this validation in place, not just to get the trust from our patient sides, but also from dental community that, okay, something new is happening, but the newness or the novel thing is happening in the right direction. And let's join this momentum hand in hand to take this mission forward. When I was honored by Pierre Fortune International Merit Award, it was for my contribution, a little contribution in dentistry with respect to research. I have done multiple projects in the indemnity space. In One was in the space of making a device to calculate the exact vertical dimensions with respect to our denture making. Few of them were also in the space of how can we utilize tech in a much better and an ethical format to deliver dentistry. I think back then, even our sports and cultural activities were taken into consideration. So, to highlight just one sports event, I actually made my campus where I was a student into a green campus. So, I used to use a bicycle. There were two reasons. Of course, to eliminate and avoid the pollution, but I used to do a lot of marathons. I've done like 76 marathons. Yeah, 76 plus marathons. Yeah, a combination of both half and full marathons. And I also used to train for marathons, train people for marathon running. I used to be pacer in a lot of known marathons in the state and nation. And second step was to, I thought, why not start training for Ironman? So, as you would know, right, Ironman is like
Yeah,
a triathlon of swimming and biking and running.
running.
So running, I was practicing regularly. I was like, well, okay, why not use cycle? And in my campus, there's a lot of ups and downs. It's a hilly area. So it was like college जाने का भी काम हो रहा है and cycling का भी काम हो रहा है. So I used to, of course, do additional biking practice, but this was one of my things. And yeah, swimming in my college campus practice again. So with that thing, I had given a proposal of why don't we have multiple cycle stands and cycles in the campus and just stop all the vehicles in the starting or the entrance of the campus so we can have a true green campus. So there were multiple such things what I had contributed with respect to sports as well. I think the combination of all came of importance with respect to the Air Fortune Award. But again, last year we were awarded as the most innovative dental startup of the year, and we were awarded in New Delhi. Again, a moment of proud um, for our country, not just to represent of what are we capable of driving in the space of AI, but uh, this tech we have made in India for India and the world to help individuals in different regions where we see a lot of areas are overwhelmed and the health infrastructures are breaking down. Just to put one more example, I think before I conclude this part, is we were fortunate to be invited as the only health tech startup in the Startup 20, which is a discussion group of G20, to put forth our understanding and recommendations for the policy communique, which was drafted and now it's published, right? It just got published a month and a half back of how do we have a standardization of professional certification so that dental surgeons who are brilliantly graduated and are practicing in India can have rights to consult in at least the G20 countries, wherein we can have equal distribution with respect to dental and patient ratio to combat the crisis which are faced, for example, in the UK right now. Yeah.
Wow, ma'am. Actually,
Mm.
the sporty side of you is not visible on LinkedIn, actually, to be very honest. And this was a new
Yes.
side, actually, which I personally got to know, and the listeners would also get to know that you are so sporty. By the way, by any chance, ma'am, you guys are still hiring dentists. So I would ask you to just tell us about this. That are you still hiring some tech freak dentists to your companies?
Yeah. So the sporty side of mine, by the way, is seen on Instagram once in a while. But yeah, LinkedIn rarely I put anything, but maybe I should. With respect to hiring of dental surgeons, yes, yes, and yes, and we are just not hiring, but also training them through our first of its kind course, the Impact Program for dental surgeons. Now, it's a very interesting story. How did we launch this program in already overstretched uh, routine that the company is operating in? When I used to speak about the impact of AI in dentistry and how is it changing the overall scheme of things in various colleges, as a speaker, a lot of new graduates or people in internship used to come and ask me if, okay, if you want to contribute or work with respect to AI and dentistry, what do we do? Do we start learning machine learning languages like Python, or what exactly shall we start with? And I was very surprised. I was like, you did not learn all these languages. You are a dental surgeon. You have wonderful dentistry skills. You just need to implement those skills in a format what a machine would understand and work hand in hand with the right set of engineers to implement your skills and contribute to AI/ML. But of course, since it's a new field, not many companies are into the same. And when it comes to training of these things, nobody is doing it. So such incidences which happened like a couple of times with me made me think, why not have a structured course in which we can train the interested dental graduates, not just the recent pass out, but also the one with experience in clinical field who now wants to change their career path into non-clinical or want to explore something new. We have put together this 6 weekend course. Every weekend has a module, and this is only for Saturday, Sunday. So, with any commitments that you are busy from Monday to Friday, that won't get disturbed. 6 weekends, 6 modules, and that covers almost everything from AI-based dentistry, where we cover annotations, importance of data. We cover tele-dentistry. We also cover health informatics, pharmacovigilance, dental research and genetics as well. And the last module is dental entrepreneurship. So if you want to think different, if you want to have the steps clear of right from having an idea to how do you make an MVP, how do you test the same in market, come back, relearn, unlearn, learn again, right? And then put the final product in the market, and how do you again take the user feedback, come back, put it on the drawing board, make further finding and polishing of that product, and again take that into market. So we are associated with a lot of such founders, and we give our students uh, the first hand access to these speakers. And once they are into the program, we know that now they are trained well, their thinking direction is right, and we integrate into our ecosystem not just as a job, yes, that is there, but also they get access to the entire DentalDost ecosystem and support for lifetime. So this is how we have now structured the entire program.
Well, guys, I don't know about you guys. I'm gonna enroll for this course for sure because this is sounding very futuristic, and people who are interested can directly reach to Dental Dost on their website and they can get an access to all of these. Thank you very much, ma'am. Well, ma'am, thank you for sharing all this. As we draw to a close, What words of wisdom do you have for the budding dental graduate who might draw inspiration from your journey?
Well, I must have said this in previous interviews as well. But first thing first, do not give up on your profession. When I was answering your first question and I said that I had two options in front of me, you must have thought MBBS and BDS. And that's the sad truth of a lot of uh, new students who get into the course that, okay, MBBS nahi mila to BDS, baad mein dekh lenge. And as and when they approach final year internship, they understand, okay, maybe there's not so much in the market for us. Maybe the profession was not right because of the user's mindset. My words of wisdom, my dear friends, the momentum of oral health care, the momentum of understanding of oral health and its importance on overall health, and the momentum of AI based dentistry has just started. And to be in this space will be like to be in a space of diamonds, maybe. You know, it's a golden era for us dental surgeons to make a dent in the world of dentistry for next 10 years. So do not give up on your career. I have seen a lot of demotivated dentists and I feel so sad. You know, I try to motivate them as much as when I go to these workshops, uh, address the audience as a speaker. So there's a lot in the field. The only problem is maybe you're not exposed to all the options, you're not exposed to all the information, and the right set of people who can bring you forward and upwards in this field. So keep your eyes, ears, heart open. Be very curious. Keep searching for all the options which are available out there. And I think all the role models that we have in the country, or at least building, are all accessible. So don't have second thoughts in reaching out to them, discussing your ideas, and taking it forward. Right. So just be very motivated, be super curious, and trust me, there's a lot of things which are there to be unleashed and to be opened, in the space of dentistry.
Well, ma'am, profound advice indeed. Thank you, ma'am, for your, immensely sharing your incredible journey with us today. Your work is a beacon of inspiration and truly commendable. Thank you a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Ganendra. I really felt good, walking through my journey, and I'm sure there's a lot of things still which are to be unveiled as and when we go along with this path of making a real change in dentistry. Again, having said that, it's not a small journey. It's not a vision of 2, 3, 4 years. To make a change with respect to mindset of patients and to make a real change, it might take a decade, 2 or 3. You don't know. But just to be persistent, do not give up. There are a lot of doubts, self doubts, market sentiment changes, and so on and so forth. But if you are persistent and your dedication of not giving up and getting up even when you fail can only help with driving the change, and it is very, very fulfilling, no doubt. Thank you so much for having me here at the episode. I really wish that if these episodes make a change in at least one person's life, I would feel like this half an hour that we have dedicated will be of use.
Surely, ma'am, will have a change, and you will experience this change very soon, because there are a lot of Gen, what we say, coming to
Gen Z.
the Gen Zs actually
Yes.
coming to the field of dentistry. Anyways, thank you once again, ma'am, for your precious time.
Thank you.
And
Thank
to
you.
our listeners, as we extend our gratitude for joining us today on the Molarbear, stay tuned for more captivating stories which are shaping the healthcare. Until next time, this is your host Dr. Ganeth. As we conclude this enlightening conversation, I invite all our listeners to engage with us on social media and anticipate the upcoming episodes of the Molarbear. Stay curious, stay engaged, and keep sharing your beautiful smiles to the world. Thank you for joining us today.